Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. Time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have a military delegation led by the Minister of Defense inspects the Dumera sector. For the international scene, the 100,000 contaminations mark is placed in France. Welcome to our newsroom. President Gelle pays tribute to the memory of the late Elmi Ali Arde, one of the pillars of the Djibouti's mobilization for our independence. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gelle, has paid a vibrant tribute to the memory of the late Elmi Ali Arde, one of the leading figures in the struggle for our national independence. With his death, Djibouti loses one of its brave sons, said the head of state, for whom the late Elmi Ali Arde will have left an indelible mark on the collective history of our country. The national opinion will long remember the leading role he played in the African People's League for Independence, LPIE, the political movement that led to our access to sovereignty. He said his love for the country was commensurate with the equal fraternity he reserved for all Djiboutians. He continued in the same vein. As for his successful careers as a parliamentarian, it is the fruit of his depth attachment to consensus and the general interests. He noted one of the founding member of the RPP. It is quite natural that he has always performed brilliantly the duty of president of the Humbuli Annex, which he has long performed. The President Ismail Omar Gelle also highlighted the head of state prayed to Almighty God to welcome the late notable Djiboutians in his eternal paradise before expressing his sad condolences to his family, relatives and friends. The late Elmi Ali Arde was a well-known and appreciated personality in Djibouti. He was a patriarch and the head of a large family with many children and grandchildren. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Early in the day of Sunday, December 26, 2021, the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, His Excellency Hassan Omar Mohammed, accompanied by the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, paid an inspection visit about the Dolphin helicopters in Dumera in the regions of Obok, where the Obok Inter-Army Regiment, RIAO, under the command of Commander Ilyas Omar Yusuf, is deployed. The objective of this visit was to acquire the security situations in the area and to immerse himself in the daily life of our country's defense and security forces deployed along the borders and through the Dumera area in the face of the enemy in order to carry out their duty to defend the integrity of the national territory and preserve its security. Indeed, the Djibouti Armed Forces operate and work in perfect symbiosis with the National Gendarmerie and the Coast Guard to secure this area and prevent infiltrations or the advance of belligerents. Since the event of 2008, following the Eritrean incursions into our territory, a major mechanism has been put in place, including a tactical command post located in Mulhule from where orders are issued. Thereafter, the Minister of Defense in charge of Parliament in charge of relations with Parliament, accompanied by General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, carried out a review of troops. At the end of the review of troops, Hassan Omar Mohammed attended a brief presentation made by Commander Ilyas Yusuf Omar relating the general security situations of the Dumera zone, the mission devolved to the Obok regiment and the achievement made by the new chief of staff of this regiment since his appointment in September 2021. In addition to their mission of preserving the integrity of the national territory, the Obok Inter-Army Regiment is involved in the fight against the smuggling of illicit product, human trafficking, assistance to the local population, especially in medical care, as well as sanitary evacuations and water supply.
واعف عنه واكرم نزله ووسع مدخله وغسله بالماء والثلج والبرد ونقه من آمين آمين آمين. ثوب الأبيض من الدنس وأبدله دارا خيرا من دارها وأهلا خيرا من زوجها وأدخله الجنة واعدها من عذاب القبر. اللهم لا تحرمنا أجره ولا تدلنا بعضه واغفر لنا وله. الفاتحة. محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
After the presentation at the tactical command post of Mulhule, His Excellency Hassan Omar Mohammed, Minister of Defense, with the Parliament, relations with the Parliament, started a visit on the outposts of the Dumera zone. To this end, Hassan Omar Mohammed was keen to address the soldiers deployed on the first front line facing the belligerents. The visit began with the Dumera camp, followed by the Adai 2 zone, where a detachment of the National Gendarmerie was reinforced by the elements of the Obak regiment. With this visit, Hassan Omar Mohammed wanted to show by his presence that he appreciates the importance and the daily sacrifices shown by his soldiers to defend our dear nation at the risk of their lives. Finally, His Excellency Hassan Omar Mohammed went to the monument of the martyr erected in memory of our valiant soldiers who fell in the battlefield with honors, in order to recite the Fatiha to them and they implore the Almighty to reward them with the eternal paradise. The Minister of Budget, Abdul Karim Aden Sheikh, accompanied by all his collaborators, was today in hearing before the Commission in charge of the Economy of Finance and the playing of the National Assembly. On the agenda for discussions was the 2022 Finance Bill approved by the Council of Ministers and transmitted to the Assembly for adoption. The innovation in the presentation of this provisional budget for the year 2022 was the projections of a PowerPoint document on a giant screen with a paper document distributed to all parliamentarians. The Chief of Staff, Mr. Abdel Fattah Musa Arre, presented the revenue side, and the Secretary General, Simon Mebratou, presented the expenditure measures, and all the members of Parliament welcomed this mode of presentation, which contributed to the understanding of the objectives of this law. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Robli Abdille, presided this morning over a ceremony to receive medical equipment and supplies to strengthen the technical facilities of Dar al-Hannan Maternity Hospital. The materials worth 157 million francs are financed by the Islamic Development Bank through UNICEF. The ceremony was attended by the Director General Ms. Hawa Hassan Gesod and the Technical Directors Dr. Wabiri Fatah Jama and the Director of the Management Unit of the Ministry of Health, Mr. Abdurrahman Hussein Arale. This batch of materials and equipment is intended to improve and strengthen the functioning of the maternity services such as the gyneco-obstetric services, the neonatology services, and laboratory, and will thus contribute to the reductions of the maternal and neonatal mortality rates, which is one of the priority of the Ministry of Health. The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Roble Abdillah, said that by making this equipment available, his department would contribute to the improvement of health, of newborn health. These materials and equipment will also improve the functioning of the technical platforms as well as the care of the beneficiary services. After the presentation and after the representatives and international partners, the Minister of Labor in charge of formalization and social protection, Ismail Ibrahim Roble, opened this morning at the People's Palace a workshop to share the National Employment Confidence Pact with the workers' representatives. The objective of today's meeting was to share the pact, which contains devices and mechanisms adopted collectively to strengthen the employment dynamic and develop synergy with all actors in the world of work in Djibouti, in particular workers' representatives and civil society. The pact constitutes the reference tool for government policy and programs for several years. For his part, the Minister of Labor in charge of formalization and social protection, Ismail Ibrahim Roble, said that this is why, in the spirit of tripartism and in accordance with our social democracy and the reform of our employment and labor policy, it is important for us to share it with you again in order to take ownership, innovate and employment, build, act for growth based on decent work, fuel and productive employment and sustainable development. The Monaco Economic Board, in collaboration with the Club des Entrepreneurs Monégasques en Afrique, SENA, organized a new webinar, SEMA Collections. This fourth event was dedicated to the investment opportunity offered by the Republic of Djibouti. Indeed, the Club des Entrepreneurs Monégasques en Afrique, known as SEMA, has 17 major companies as members and has the ambition to develop good business practices in Africa, bringing together Monegasque companies active in more than 45 countries of the continent who are really investing in Africa, alongside Justin Hyman, Deputy Director General of the MEB, Frédéric Gert, President of the SEMA, and Denis Ruyon, Secretary General of the SEMA, led this webinar, which gave the floor to key players and companies, including the Honorary Consul of Monaco in Djibouti, Miss Jordana Raymond Koubesha, the Honorary Consul of Monaco in Djibouti, Jean-Jacques Robin, and the President of the Chamber of Commerce of Djibouti, Yusuf Moussa Dawale, and the Director of the Bank for Commerce and Industry, Red Sea Bread Group. The President of the Professional Banking Association is Mr. Regis Bariaka. The webinar was an opportunity to raise awareness of the investment opportunities in Djibouti and its attractive business climate. The second General Assembly of the Djibouti City Neighborhood Council was held today, Sunday, 26 December 2021. This important event was attended by the Mayor of the capital, Fatma Awali Osman, the National Parliamentarian, the First Deputy Mayor, the President of the Municipality of Bulaous Balbala, the Executive of the Municipality of Djibouti, the representative of the Ministry delegated to decentralization. The ceremony was also attended by all the neighborhood councils of the three municipalities of the capital. On the agenda of this event, the assessment of activities undertaken during these 2 years of operation. The member of the neighborhood councils took turn to present the work accomplished, namely the preservation of national harmony, the cooperation with several ministries for the executions of such social projects, followed by the interventions of the president of the municipality of the capital of Djibouti, who also praised the merit, but also the important role that the neighborhood council plays in the life of our fellow citizens. In her speech, the mayor of Djibouti, Fatuma Awale Ousmane, said, "I am delighted to take the floor in order to mark the attachment that the municipality team of the city of Djibouti and myself accord to this initiative of the district council. Indeed, it is now a little more than a year ago precisely, and 22 November 2020, the first General Assembly of the District Councils was held at that time. I remind you that we took stock of the structuring and animations of the district councils, and we appreciated the dynamism and actions carried out by the latter. In partnership with the Ministry of Decentralization and the support of UNDP, the Regional Council of Djibouti, the Regional Council of Tajorra closed a review of its mandate 2017-2022 on 23 December 2021 in the White City, with the various departments concentrated in the presence of the Prefect Hassan Dabale Ahmed, the Director of Decentralization Minister of the Decentralization Minister Fardousa Ahmed, the Member of Parliament Hadi de Berkale. This initiative is part of the desire to promote good governance and responsiveness to the population. The concentrated services expect elected officials to be accountable for the fulfillment of their commitments and the quality of their management. It is in this context of duty that the elected representatives went to present the 2017-2022 mandate review. For his part, the prefect of Tajorra, Mr. Hassan Dabale Ahmed, thanked the president of the Regional Council who presented the 2017-2022 balance sheet, but in such a short time they have achieved, he said, a lot. But the legal framework of decentralization was put in place in 2006, and a delegate ministries of decentralization was put in place by the President of the Republic to deal or support decentralization. So as a representative of the state, I can rejoice in the advances made by the Regional Council of Tajorra. The Director of Planning of the Decentralization Department, Madam Fardousa Ahmed Ali, said there is a big job to do on deconcentrations, and everyone is aware that without deconcentrations, decentralization will be difficult. So the ministry that are present will do and what they can at their levels, and those that are not will soon be represented. I think there is a big programs that will be launched. So in 2022, we will do our best for the consolidations of deconcentration for the economic development of the region of Tajura. The Minister of Trade and Tourism has intensified its control operation in the file of recent weeks in order to observe the evolutions of the prices of basic foodstuff. In this context, the control agents of the Ministry of Commerce will ensure the respect of these approved prices, will catch a speculator in flagrant delicto, will immediately refer them to justice for sanctions and penalties in accordance with the regulations in force. On Sunday, 26 December 2021, the inspection took place in the Pika 12 district, and the inspectors noted unjustified price increase by some trader. To this end, all the offending outlets were closed and the offenders were fined substantial penalties. At the end of this operation, the ministry intends to carry out a broad national consultations with all stakeholders concerned by the issue, public, administrative, private sector, before making recommendations to the government to control post-COVID inflation. As part of the IHF Trophy for Zone 6 men's versions, which includes Djibouti and 6 other countries in the region, the Djibouti Handball Federation is preparing this year to participate in the 2 national teams, cadet and juniors, which will be held from 15 to 24 February in Addis Ababa to defend the national colors. And it is in this perspective that the national pre-selection, accompanied by the technical staff of the Handball Federation, took the road very early this Saturday, December 25, to go to Addis Ababa for a 10-day training camp. The logistics were provided by the Djibouti Coast Guard, which provided the delegation with an air-conditioned bus. As for the National Gendarmerie, it provided the reception and accommodation for the national team and the Federation of Handball staff. This training course will allow these young people to benefit from a pleasant environment and practical and suitable training on the highlands of Addis Ababa in order to be better adapted to the climate and altitude in Payson. We would like to thank the commanders of the two corps of the Djiboutian Coast Guard and the National Gendarmerie for their unfailing support. The president of the Handball Federation said they are concerned to develop national handball. We renew once again our confidence in them for their support and their commitment for several seasons now alongside the Handball Federation. On the evening of 22 December, investigators from the Brigade of Investigations and Judicial Delegation of Commissariat Central carried out an operation to put a stop to the illegal sale of cannabis. It was after gathering reliable information that the elements of the drug squad decided to open an investigation to dismantle this network of cannabis traffickers. The investigation is carried out by the OPG led to the discovery of a warehouse containing a quantity of cannabis estimated at around 50 kilograms and monetary values of more than 3 million Djibouti francs. In fact, this operation is carried out with a brio by the National Police, led to the arrest of 6 individuals involved in this drug trafficking case, who will be brought to justice. These men had, in fact, set up a well-organized distribution network that served several districts of the capital. This bust identified one of the largest importers of cannabis, who was also the head of the large distribution network. This large-scale operation is part of the fight against drug led by the National Police under the leadership of the Director General of the National Police, who has made the fight against cannabis a priority for the investigation service of the National Police. For his part, Lieutenant Muhammad of the investigation Mohammed Abdurrahman of the Investigation Judicial Delegation Brigade of the Central Police recalled that the National Police will not stop fighting against this cannabis traffic. The elements of the PK-20 Customs Brigade and the soldiers from Hull Military School intercept more than 700 kilograms of contraband cat yesterday. In fact, 8 parcels, each containing more than 120 of cat were intercepted, resulting in unstamped merchandise worth nearly 1 million Swiss Djibouti franc. According to the standards procedures in force, this quantity was transmitted to the Customs Brigade and destroyed on the spot in the presence of the head of the Customs Brigade of the PK-20 and PK-51, namely Farah Abdi Dudub, on the occasions of the handing over of the seizures to the National Customs. Lieutenant Saad Godad indicate that despite the busy agenda in the training of the military, the soldiers of the school have always led a relentless fight against illicit trade. On Saturday, December 25, 2021, the agents of the Customs Brigade of the Gendarmeries of Ali Sabih Brigade carried out a nice by intercepting two Tata-type vehicles in the vicinity of the Ali Sabih town. After gathering information, the gendarmes first got to their hand on a vehicle in which 18 packages of contraband cat were found, each containing 100 package. A few moments later, another Tata-type vehicle was intercepted by the gendarmes of Ali Sabih Brigade. In the latter's vehicle, 7 parcels of contraband were discovered, also containing 100 packages each. In total, this operation led the seizures of 22 packages of cat, 2,200 packages of contraband cat with an estimated value of 2,200,000, and to the arrest of 10 individuals involved with the entire contraband merchandise were destroyed by fires in the presence of the customs officers in accordance with the procedure. All those involved will be brought to justice to answer further actions. For the international scene, with 104,611 new cases in 24 hours, the country has reached an unprecedented threshold since the beginning of the epidemic in March 2020, according to figures published Saturday evening by Santé Publique France. The 50,000 marks was passed on 4 December, and this figure has therefore doubled in 3 weeks, according to the health agency. Faced with the proliferation of the Omicron variant, the executive is mobilizing. Emmanuel Macron will hold a health defense council by video conference on Monday at 4 p.m., 1 hour before the Council of Ministers, which is due to adopt the bill introducing the vaccination pace. Some measures have already been taken locally, such as in Savoie. A prefectural decree extends measures in force since 13 November, obliging the wearing of masks by people aged 11 and over, including outdoors in places where more than 10 people gather, such as markets, theaters, etc. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.